All-wheel drive and its redneck brother four-wheel drive are standard or optional on most modern vehicles. That wasn't always the case. Four-wheel drive started as kind of a utilitarian oddity. The first viable example of a production four-wheel drive vehicle is the 1908 Jeffries Quad. Not only were they useful on farms and the untamed roads of the American interior, but they proved themselves on the battlefields of World War I. In 1940, the U.S. Army Quartermaster requisitioned a brand new light reconnaissance vehicle. To make a very interesting but long story short, Bantam Car Company would submit the winning design, Willis Overland would perfect that winning design, and Ford Motor Company would help produce enough of that winning design to defeat fascism and Imperial Japan. And there is nothing those returning GIs wanted more than to own their own four-wheel drive vehicle. So in 1946, Willis Overland starts selling a civilian version of the Jeep, and the four-wheel drive craze is officially born. And so it was that companies started clamoring over each other to make their own version of the now iconic and popular Jeep. In 1948, you get the first Land Cruiser. In 1960, you get Toyota's version of the Jeep, the FJ. In 1966, we get the Ford Bronco. In 1969, we get the Chevy Blazer. And in 1970, we get the Dodge Ram Charger. And so now that we have everybody hooked on four-wheel drive, it's time to start refining it. In 1966, you get the first non-off-road production 4x4 vehicle in the Jensen FF. Then in 1972, Subaru builds on what the FF started when they are able to offer part-time four-wheel drive in the 1972 Leon wagon. This Subaru was four-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive, more on that later. Okay, it's later. This is the 1980 AMC Eagle. It was four-wheel drive, but it was full-time four-wheel drive. What that means is it could send power to whichever axle was slipping at the time. It was crude, but this was your first all-wheel drive. Additionally, in 1980, Audi came out with Quattro. Was it a VW military van's four-wheel drive system crammed under a sport coupe? Yes. Was it amazing? Double yes. And that's all it took. Automakers were off to the races. We soon realized that transfer cases were only going to take us so far, and we moved on to computers, where all four wheels are powered, and we use brake vectoring to control when one is slipping. Picture a wheel is spinning on ice or snow or something. The brakes clamp down on that spinning wheel that has no traction, send the power over to the other three wheels that do have traction. And that's why the technology is so ubiquitous today. Before, you used to have a vehicle that was high enough and big enough to fit and support all this crazy infrastructure, extra drive shafts and transfer cases and stuff. But today it's much more simple. We can break power right off the transaxle and then use brake vectoring to control the whole